Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Today we are waterproofing the foundation of a fairly large executive style home. The problem here is that they've got hardwood floors throughout, a sunken living room, and of course water is coming up under that floor. He's already replaced the floor once and was told by the contractors that he would never have another problem. But of course he's called us out here to remedy that. Let me show you what we're doing today. So on this installation, you can see all that easy flow. There's about 200 feet, and we're digging around the foundation. We got Jamie over there. She got a tough spot right there by the air conditioner. Dan's over here. He's making real good progress. But you can see how deep that footer actually is. It's quite deep down along that wall. We're going to excavate that, wash it all off, clean it, and put our liquid rubber up on there. We've got the sump basin in and come around the corner. Irrigation lines are in the way. This side's actually the easy side. The back here, same thing. Haven't got that far yet. Only been here an hour. We are going to hook up this catch basin line and or replace it as it came through here. And you can see all the debris here. This was all shrubbery. And look at that portocarpus. Look at the size of this tree. I mean, we need the chainsaw, so we were chopping on it, but we're going to need the chainsaw just to get that guy out of there. Irrigation lines in the way. Probably have to cut this concrete. And sprinklers, of course, are always in your way when you're doing this. They're all just going to get taken out and have to be replaced. The line starts clear back here by the catch basin. There was all those shrubs here which we've pulled, got those out of the way, and now we can actually begin to dig. We'll probably come right up here to this portocarpus and dig on the other side and have to come back and remove that just to finish the installation. Come across, we'll probably have to cut this little section of concrete as well, and it'll all come over and tie into the sump basin. So a good installation. Homeowners can definitely do this themselves, but you can see there's 5 men out here working, and this is going to take us the better part of a whole day to excavate it and then be able to put the liquid rubber up, let that dry, and then lay pipe and backfill. So it's really 2 days. And I didn't show you this part up here. I just need to walk you around real quick. But the line actually starts all the way over here by the front door. And again, a lot of tree roots, sprinklers, and we just got into where we could dig that, which we're starting to dig, coming through, comes all the way around. Remember, this is footer pipe, so it needs to be down on the footer. And you can see it's a long ways. Footer pipe runs level. We don't need to worry about any fall. It all runs level, and it floods up through the system and begins to travel, and it's going to run all the way back to the back sump pump. These downspouts, where he's got them splashed out, we're actually going to send them out, and they're going to go out to the front, or they may go over to that direction. We are over there. Excavating down to the footer all the way along the foundation. And the reason being is that, especially here in Florida, but it's true everywhere, as groundwater rises, if it has no place to go, it will find a way into your slab or your crawl space or your basement. Either one, they're all the same. And what we're doing is we've already washed off this wall. We're going to go ahead and put our liquid rubber on there. We use Blackjack number 57, and we'll coat that wall, let that dry, and then we're going to use the NDS quick drain. And it's kind of interesting because the quick drain, it moves 3 times the water that gravel perforated moves. And the reason why is because all of the packing peanuts, that's what's wrapped around the pipe, they're all uniform. So the same amount of water can come through there, and it comes through there much faster than gravel. So it's a really great pipe, especially here in Florida, where we're not very deep. We're down about 2 feet, and we've got a sand base, of course. So we need to make sure it's wrapped in a fabric so that no debris can get into the styrofoam or into the pipe. This stuff works great. So now it's time to set up the sump basin. And there are nipples on the side that we could cut off, but they're going to be a little bit too high. So we're going to use a 4-inch hole saw to come a little deeper. Remember, you can put a hole in here anywhere you want as long as you're above the float of your pump. So there's one side. Now we need to do the other side. So same thing, at approximately the same level. I'm going to go a little bit deeper on this side because we're bringing in another. And there's the other side. So now we can attach both footer pipes, and you see my hand coming in here? Both footer pipes can come right into that sump basin. So remember, we could cut off nipples, but they're going to be a little bit too high because here's the top of the footer. You know, actually the top of the footer is down here. So, and the footer's deep, it's way down here. We want to be right beside it. Got a line coming in here, another line coming in over there. Next we're going to drill the discharge for the sump pump, which is going to come up here, but I'm going to show you how to set the sump pump up next. Okay, so next we're going to set up the Zoller M98. This is a 1/2 horsepower pump. It'll push between 80 and 90 gallons per minute, so like 3 trash cans full of water every minute, and that depends on how high you're lifting the water and how far you're pushing it. So I'd say we're probably going to get maybe 60-70 gallons a minute. Still a lot of water. We're going to lift it up about a foot, but we're going to send it all the way back behind me to that retention pond. So it's pushing it a long ways. Very powerful pump, should easily keep up with the system. The way this pump sets up, if you notice, it's kind of heavy. There's a threaded port right here. This is 1.5 inches. You start with a male threaded 1.5 inch adapter, and you put this into the port. We're going to screw this in here as tight as we can with our hand. You don't need to wrench it down, but get it on there as tight as you can. Next, we cut a small little riser just to get, above this protection bar. This bar protects the float. I don't know if you can hear that, but it kicks on the pump on and off. From this small riser, we also need to put in a pressure relief hole. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a 3/16 inch hole in here because it can get airlock between the pump and the check valve. We don't want that to happen, otherwise it won't pump any water. This is a check valve. This only allows water to flow one direction. And any check valve that you buy is going to have some type of marking. And if you look closely, you'll see those arrows that tells me the water flow goes this direction. So that would go on top of our small riser. This is held together, I'm just going to set it on here, but this is held together with no-hubs and stainless steel bands. Very strong, very secure, but it does give a little bit of play in case you do need to offset something. Remember, we're going to have another 90 up here where it comes out off the pit. So if it offsets a little bit, no worries, but try to keep it as plumb as possible. So let's go ahead and glue this up. And I'm using this Oatly Fusion. This is a 2-in-1, so it's already got the primer built into the glue. Makes it real simple for anybody. Put a good amount of glue on your riser and inside the fitting. We're going to push it and hold it. A little twist. Just hold it for a second because it's slippery. It tries to back out, and now it's secure. I mean, that's solid. Next, we'll put the check valve on. Remember to check your arrows pointing upward, and get it on there good and tight. I'm going to loosen this up a little bit because it's still kind of tight. Make sure your check valve sits. There's actually seats inside here that, like a hub. It will hit that hub and you'll know you're on there. And then we're going to tighten up the stainless steel bands using your handy dandy Black & Decker or whatever you got. But make it as tight as your drill can make it. It has to be really tight. I've already tightened that one up and the top one. So now we're ready to set the pump down in place. And the reason that we're stopping here is we need to get the measurement as it comes up where we're going to come out of the pit. So let's put the pump down in the pit and we'll see where we're at. Okay, so I put a small riser from the check valve, tightened that up. Now I haven't glued this, but I'm just putting it up here so I can get a measurement of where I'm going to come through then we're going to use a 2-inch hole saw. Remember, 2-inch is the exact outer diameter of 1.5 inches, okay? So it'll slide right through there and be real tight. And if you're off by 1/2 inch or whatever, it'll be no problem. But try to get as close as possible. Nice. So you can see when I slide this through, it's going to meet up just perfectly inside there. Now we're ready to glue this, and then we'll work on the rest of the line outside. And I'll bring the camera over to show you another review of how the pump looks inside the pit. But we're going to glue it up. Again, using a 2-in-1, I'm going to put a little bit of glue around the riser, glue around my fitting, twist it, try to line it up a little bit. Remember, you can move your pump. That's set. Next, I'm going to slide this through the hole, and we'll put some glue around that and around the fitting. This is going to set up really quick, so when you put it together, be ready. Just hold it for a second and we're secure. So let me show you what that looks like. So starting out here, you can see where it butts out, you know, it stopped here. We're going to be able to hook our line up from here and go out towards the pond. But let's look down inside and you can see it really well. That's a Zoller M98, and if you look carefully, you'll see we've got the male threaded 1.5 inch adapter, a small riser, has a hole for pressure relief. Then we have check valves, arrows pointing upwards, a 90 to make the first turn, and then it's coming right out through the wall. It's really that simple. So hooking up the pump, it really is that simple. And I know a lot of people, you know, they get kind of fearful of hooking up something they've never done before. But if you watch this video or any of the other videos I've showed you, hooking up that sump pump, it really is that simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a Y on this downspout discharge line. This is from the downspouts and it's going all the way back to the pond, and we're going to put our sump pump connected to here. Pretty simple thing to do. We need to just get a couple of measurements. We want to cut inside the couplings. So let's go ahead and get that first cut. A little bit of mud in there. Then we're going to make our next measurement. And we'll cut that. And then we're just going to fit this Y on here, snapping on one side, and corrugated pipe's pretty cool. In fact, let's do it the other way. Let's snap it on this side. Because we've got more play on this line over here, and it just snaps together. So that's done, and we're ready to go ahead and plumb the PVC as it comes over here to this, and we'll show you that in just a second.
Okay, time to cut this concrete patio using a partner saw, diamond blade. Only takes a few minutes, something you guys can easily do yourselves.
So we're starting to clean off this footer here, but what I want to show you is there's a catch basin that picks up the channel drain back by Chance's foot. And you can see we have to have good fall coming around to the sump basin. And easy to check, just run some water. But I mean, we always dig it downhill, but you can see it's all flowing over towards the sump basin, working. Okay, if you remember how I make my couplings, you take a piece of pipe and you slice it in half. You need about 6 inches of it, and you squeeze it real hard together. And here's our easy flow. We slide one side in there, and this is expanding inside that pipe, and it is super strong when you try to pull that apart. Then I'm going to connect it to this piece of pipe right here, which is going into the sump basin. So you can see, you can't even see the coupling there, and it's super secure. It comes back, and the way we come into the basin is we drilled that 4-inch hole, actually 4 1/4, and we slice the pipe, pull it inside, and it's all set to go. So now we're going to continue the installation of the Easy Flow. Remember, Easy Flow, it actually moves more water than gravel. It is a great material, especially here in Florida along the foundation. I recommend this very highly. So we're starting to clean off this footer here, But what I want to show you is there's a catch basin that picks up the channel drain back by Chance's foot. And you can see we have to have good fall coming around to the sump basin. And easy to check, just run some water. But I mean, we always dig it downhill, but you can see it. It's all flowing over towards the sump basin, working. Okay, from the catch basin, remember this catch basin is very important. It's picking up the channel drain. You see that channel drain that goes around? And the patio drain, the pool patio, it is tilted back this direction, but more, it's tilted where we're standing. So this catch basin is very important. There is another catch basin. Remember, we cleaned that line and got that one open that runs out that direction. But the homeowner said he's never seen the water ever enter that catch basin. That's how much flow comes over here to this catch basin. So we're replacing that line. Remember, I showed you the water, how it was flowing. Flows great. So from the catch basin, we've got solid pipe, got solid pipe, comes around. Oops. And we've got two inlets on this side. There's the catch basin line right here. And here's going to be our footer tile, which is a little bit higher because the footer is right here. So this is perfect height, and that'll all drain into the sump basin. Sump pump's going to lift it up. We're going to plumb it over to the other sump pump and tie it into the discharge line, not the pit, but the discharge line. Remember, there's check valves on here. I showed you how it sets up. This one's exactly the same. You can see there's a check valve down here. So water can't come back. It can only go one way. Same on the other pit. And now we're getting ready to finish cleaning this wall. We started up cleaning up there, but had to stop while I was working back here. And we're almost there. Okay, just everybody likes to see it work, so we put the hose in the catch basin. That water is going to come down the solid pipe and come around here, and you'll see it discharge. You can see it discharges down into the sump basin. Works great. The footer tile is actually going to sit on top of that line, and the footer tile will be at the proper level, but we had to go a little deeper to get that catch basin to flow properly. So it's called digging through grade. Okay, so while the guys take a break for lunch, let's go back over it. You can see where we are with our liquid rubber. We're right here to the corner of the bay, and we'll come and paint the rest of that. The easy flow is just kind of laying there. We're going to reset that. But this section drains over to the first sump basin right here. And then you can see the stub for the discharge where it's going to come out. The reason that we put a sump basin here is because, again, from this pool patio, it all drains through that channel drain, but even across the top of the ground, right over to this corner. And this catch basin became very important. So we've got, underneath of the styrofoam pipe, we've got a 4-inch solid line that discharges from the catch basin over to the sump pump. And the reason that we needed that is because it's a long run as we come around, and of course we would lose fall as it tries to go out, anywhere, to the backyard, to the pond, or whatever. And so that sump pump became very important, and we added that to this install. But everything's looking really good, and it's working great. It rained hard last night, and I can see where this other pump had kicked on, and it works really good. It goes right over to that sump basin over there, and we had it temporarily butted out in the yard, and you can see where it came out, no worries at all. I saw this video where they were talking about how the styrofoam pipe doesn't work as good as gravel, but in my opinion, I think that it works better than gravel, and it moves more water than you could possibly imagine. And the reason why is that those styrofoam packing peanuts, they're uniform. They have a very good void between each one, and whereas gravel, there's various sizes of that void. The packing peanuts, wow, water travels through that extremely fast. It doesn't matter how big the holes are on your pipe. It can only get water in so fast, it doesn't make any difference. Really, the big thing is where you're going to discharge. With a sump pump, wow, this thing's moving 60 to 80 gallons a minute. That's almost 3 trash cans full of water every minute that's pumping that out of there. It's extremely fast. So, at least down here in Florida, in the sand. And remember, we're digging in sand. This stuff, there's nothing better. There is nothing better. Gravel works. It works great. But the quick and easy, it works better than gravel. We pretty much got everything ready to backfill. You can see the footer pipe runs all the way around, and got, the way this system works is that water will flood up into the trench and then it's carried away by the pipe. So it could run level, but we try to give it some fall. This is about 100 feet from here back to the sump basin, so it's pretty level. Liquid rubber's on there. You can see it seals up that brick and the mortar between the bricks extremely well, and that's what we're after. But what really solves the problem is not so much the sealant, but is giving drainage. Without drainage, nothing's going to work. So you've got to have drainage. Has to be at the footer level, and it has to definitely be below that floor in case you can't get that far, which you should. If you can't get that far, you need to stop, take a break, and continue to dig till you get down to that footer, because that's the most important thing. So back here at the first pit, remember, footer pipe's coming all the way down this wall. It turns, and then it comes into the first sump basin. And if you look closely, you'll see where the second line is. You see the other sump pit comes over. There's a T there. Then it comes over and it joins, made a connection to the 4-inch corrugated. Comes over. This is a downspout drain, which is running all the way back out to the back. Downspout drain cannot drain into your footer system, but you can attach to the downspout drain. It's kind of confusing, but you can't let the downspout drain come into your footer. Here in the courtyard, Matt's making quick work of it. He's backfilling it, and you can see right where he's pushing over, there's another sump pump right there. Got it? And that's picking up, like I said, that corner of the patio and that catch basin. It is so important that we just had to put another pump there in order to lift that water up and get it out of there. So now our footer pipe kind of drains this way, and it goes around over where Dan's pushing that soil over there. But yeah, what a great project for the do-it-yourselfer. Again, remember, there were 5 men out here, and this is day 2. We'll finish up here today backfilling, but we still may come back one more day, and there's some more work out front that he'd like us to do, some downspout drains and things like that. But great project for the do-it-yourselfer. If you want to tackle something this big, it's a great project. Save yourself, 10, 15,000 versus paying a contractor to come in here and do that. Okay, so we've got this all backfilled, and we're going to do a little bit more grading on it, but it's all cleaned up. And this pump's plugged in back here. The other pump's plugged in. Patio's cleaned off. You can probably hear that blower up there on the driveway. Got the sod put back out here. We're going to haul some of this soil right here. Just a little bit too much, but a lot of this settles. And where we cut the sidewalk, we're going to put some concrete there tomorrow. Got it all backfilled. Looking good. Catch basin installed. And we're all set. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.